My name is Kennedy and I am 31 years old. For 15 years, my parents forgot to invite me to Christmas. And every single year I found out from Instagram photos. It started when I was 16. At first I thought it was a mistake, an innocent oversight. I was away at a school trip that December, and when Christmas morning came, my phone stayed silent. No call, no text. Later that day, while scrolling mindlessly, I saw it. My parents, my aunts, uncles, cousins, all smiling in front of a massive Christmas tree at my grandmother's beach house. The caption read, "Family is everything." I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. When I asked my mom about it, she laughed lightly and said, "Oh, honey, it was so last minute. We didn't think you'd want to come." I swallowed the hurt and told myself it wouldn't happen again. But it did. Every Christmas. For 15 years. Sometimes I'd hear nothing at all. Other times, I'd get a casual message on December 27th. "Hope you had a nice holiday." As if I hadn't spent Christmas Eve eating instant noodles in my apartment, pretending not to care. And always, without fail, Instagram would remind me. Matching pajamas, beach sunsets, long dining tables. My family gathered at the same place every year, my grandmother's beach house. The same one they loved. The same one they called our tradition. A tradition that somehow never included me. I tried everything. I reminded them weeks in advance. I asked directly. I even once offered to host Christmas myself. Each time there was an excuse. "We thought you were busy." It slipped our minds. "You live so far now." The worst part wasn't the rejection. It was the way they acted like it wasn't intentional. Like I was imagining the pattern. Like I was too sensitive. After a while, I stopped asking. Not because it stopped hurting, but because asking and being ignored hurt more. My grandmother Eleanor was the only one who noticed. She would call me quietly on Christmas Eve, her voice soft and guilty. "I wish you were here, sweetheart," she'd say. "It's not the same without you." I never told her the full truth. Never told her that her own daughter, my mother, had been excluding me for years. I didn't want to put her in the middle. She was old, frail, and kind in a way the rest of my family seemed to have forgotten how to be. When Grandma Eleanor passed away last year, something in me broke and hardened at the same time. I flew in for the funeral alone. My parents barely spoke to mentioning me, too busy organizing things, too busy whispering with lawyers and relatives. I overheard my aunt say, "Well, at least the house stays in the family." They all assumed the same thing. They always did. A week later, I was called into the lawyer's office. I still remember how small the room felt, how the air smelled like old paper and coffee. The lawyer cleared his throat and said, "Kennedy, your grandmother left you her beach house." For a moment, I honestly thought I'd misheard him. Her beach house. The one they used every Christmas. The same one from all those Instagram photos. The same one I was never invited to. I asked him to repeat it. He did. Slowly, clearly. The house was mine, fully, legally, my grandmother had planned it years ago. She'd even left a note. "You were always the one left out. I want you to have a place where you're never forgotten." I cried in my car afterward. Not loud, dramatic sobs. Quiet, shaking ones. For the first time in years, someone in my family had seen me. Really seen me. I didn't tell my parents right away. I watched instead. I watched them talk about this year's Christmas plans like nothing had changed. I watched my mother send messages to the family group chat about menace and decorations for a house that no longer belonged to her. I watched my cousins post throwback photos captioned, "Can't wait to be back here again." And then December came. For 15 years, my parents forgot to invite me to Christmas. I always found out from Instagram photos. Last year, I inherited my grandmother's beach house, the same one they use for Christmas. This December, everything was about to change. I didn't announce anything. I didn't warn anyone. I let December arrive quietly, like it always had for me. Except this time I was already at the beach house. The same house. The one glowing in every Instagram photo for 15 years. I unlocked the door with my own key and stood in the living room, where I'd only ever existed as a background absence. I walked through each room slowly, touching the walls, the windows, the long dining table where I'd never been allowed to sit. Then I made a call. By mid-morning on Christmas Eve, everything was set. For 15 years, my parents forgot to invite me to Christmas, and I always found out from Instagram photos. This year, there would be no photos, at least not the kind they expected. I knew their routine. I knew the timing. By noon on Christmas Day, cars always started pulling into the driveway, laughter spilling out before doors even opened. I made coffee and waited. When the first SUV appeared, my heart started pounding, but I didn't move. One car became 3. 3 became 7, cousins, aunts, uncles, gifts piled in arms, smiles ready. Then the confusion started. My mother tried the door. It didn't open. She frowned, laughed awkwardly, tried again. My father knocked hard, annoyed already. That's when I opened the door. For a split second, no one recognized me. Not here, not in their Christmas place. Then my mother's face drained of color. "Kennedy?" she said, like my name didn't belong in that sentence. I smiled calmly. Behind me stood a sheriff and an attorney. The air shifted instantly. For 15 years, my parents forgot to invite me to Christmas. This December, when 23 relatives showed up, I was waiting at the door with a sheriff and an attorney. I watched their joy collapse into shock. My father demanded to know what kind of joke this was. My mother whispered my name like a warning. I stepped aside and let the lawyer speak. He explained ownership. He explained trespassing. He explained that this house, their favorite venue, was no longer theirs to use. My grandmother had made sure of that. Someone laughed nervously. Someone else started recording, on their phone until the sheriff calmly told them to stop. My aunt tried to smooth things over, saying there must be a misunderstanding. There wasn't. My cousin asked if we could just talk. Inside, we already were talking, finally. 15 years of silence, excuses, and forgotten invitations came rushing to the surface. My mother's voice cracked as she said, "Why would you do this on Christmas?" I answered honestly, "Because you did it to me for 15 years. The words landed heavy. No yelling, no screaming, just truth. I told them how I found out every year from Instagram photos, how I stopped asking, how I stopped expecting anything from them, how Grandma Eleanor was the only one who noticed. I read her note out loud. Some of them cried. Some of them looked angry, not at themselves, but at me. That part didn't surprise me anymore. The sheriff cleared his throat and reminded everyone they needed to leave. Slowly, awkwardly, cars were unloaded. Gifts were put back. Traditions dissolved in real time. My parents were the last to go. My mother looked back at the house, then at me. "So that's it?" she asked. I nodded. "That's it." When the driveway was empty, the silence felt unreal. I sat alone at the dining table, staring at the ocean through the window. For the first time, Christmas didn't feel like rejection. It felt like closure. Later that night, my phone buzzed nonstop. Messages, missed, calls, accusations, apologies that came 15 years too late. I didn't respond. Instead, I posted one photo. Just the beach. Just the sunset. No caption. Within minutes, people understood. For 15 years, my parents forgot to invite me to Christmas. They always found out from Instagram photos. This time, they were the ones left outside. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it to end something that had been breaking me quietly for half my life. And standing there, in the house my grandmother left me, I finally understood what she meant. I was never hard to love. I was just ignored by people who chose convenience over kindness. If this story hit you, if you've ever been the one left out, forgotten, or treated like an afterthought, make sure you subscribe to the channel because these stories aren't just entertainment. They're reminders that your worth doesn't depend on who shows up for you.